This book has a long title. Anne M. Martin, the story of the author of the Babysitters Club. It's written by Margo Becker R. with Anne Martin, and I'm really curious as to how Anne Martin got a writing credit on this project. She didn't write it, Margot wrote it. We know because Margot talks about herself in the first person at one point. Also, if Anne Martin did write this book, that would have made it an autobiography.
Argo Funk Book Review. Argo Funk Book Review.
I feel a little uncomfortable reviewing a biography. If I say the biography is boring, it sounds like I'm insulting Anne Martin for not living an interesting life. That's not what I'm trying to say. But I am trying to say that this book focuses on the not as interesting parts of Anne Martin's life. The majority of the book is about her before she became an adult. At the halfway point of the book, Anne is 8. At the two-thirds point, she hasn't gone to college yet. I think that is a bad choice. The majority of the book should have focused on Martin and writing The Babysitter's Club. That was the major achievement of her life at age 38. They even put Babysitter's Club in the book's title. It definitely deserved way more focus than just 2 chapters towards the end of the book. Anne Matthews Martin was born in Princeton, New Jersey in 1955. Her father was a cartoonist, and her mother was a teacher who was a stay-at-home mom while the kids were little. They had 9 cats. After we're told this, there's a 2-paragraph quotation from Anne Martin about pets. This quotation is blocked off from the rest of the text. There are 8 or 9 quotation sections scattered throughout the book. Maybe that's why she gets a writing credit? We learn how her parents met and all about her extended family members. Her sister Jane was born when she was 2. The sisters like to do fun things together, like play games and run lemonade stands. The Martins built a house on Dodd Street. There are many other kids in the neighborhood, and became lifelong friends with Beth McKeever. They had many adventures and sleepovers, and together they ran many different projects, like plays, carnivals, clubs, and even a newspaper. This is clearly where a lot of inspiration for the Babysitters Club came from. Beth was a lot like Christy, while Anne was a Mary Ann. Beth eventually married Mr. Perkins and had 3 kids. The Perkins family appears in several Babysitters Club books. Anne was good at school, but not at the social aspects of school. She did a lot of babysitting, especially for the Rice family. In fact, her first babysitting job was being a mother's helper for a week when the Rices went on a beach vacation, just like Babysitter's Club number 8. Anne got into a bad fall and had her spleen removed. As a result, she later developed an immune system disorder. It's like having a bad flu for a really long time. Some days it was too much effort for her to get out of bed. The first time was the worst. Now her sickness is more manageable, as she has a better system for working when she's sick. In high school, Martin excelled in English and French. For her child care class, she helped run a preschool. She wanted to join choir, but she was too afraid to audition in front of other people. Someone stole her big project in horticulture class, but her teacher let her make a new one. There's a chapter for birthdays, for summer vacations, and for Christmases. There's a chapter on her volunteer work with children who have autism. There's a chapter on her taste, which is neat and classic. She's a vegetarian, sews a lot, collects books, and dislikes TV because it's too violent. She likes the Babysitter's Club TV show, though. Anne went to Smith College, which is all female. She worked hard and made friends with older students. They are still friends today. She double majored in psychology and education. For her senior project, she wrote about the use of children's literature in classrooms. Anne wanted to be a teacher after college. She got a job teaching a 4th, 5th grade blend with many special needs students. She decided to get a different teaching job, but she didn't think she could get one before the new school year started, so she got a temporary job as an editorial assistant for a big book publisher in New York City. That is all the explanation the book gives. They clearly left out a few steps. It is not that easy to get a full-time job in a different state in an industry that you have no work experience in. Anne Martin worked in the publishing industry for a few years. It sure would be nice if we got a list of all the books she worked on. There's an offhand note that she worked on some Nancy Drew books. Which ones? She would have been working in the industry at the time that the Nancy Drew series switched publishers and got rebooted. So that was a super interesting time for the Nancy Drew series. I think it merits more than just a passing mention. Martin wrote Bummer Summer in her spare time. A friend of a friend of a friend found an editor who helped Anne work on the book and get it published. She wrote 4 more books, and again, I dislike the biography's lack of information. There is one sentence which covers all 4 books she wrote. Each book could easily get its own paragraph, right? Anne liked writing so much, she took the plunge. She quit her editing job to become a full-time freelance writer. Again, it would be nice to get a list of all the books she wrote. She also did freelance editing. One day, an old co-worker named Jean Fiwell had the idea for a 4-book series called The Babysitter's Club. She hired Anne for the project because they knew each other, and it was a big success. The 2 of them developed the Little Sister series too. That's about all the information the biography gives. It is disappointingly vague. Honestly, writing the first 4 books should have been an entire chapter. The series' immediate success and the decision to continue it could have been another chapter. I'd also like to see something about the decision to kick Stacy out of the series, replacing her with Jesse and Mallory, also bringing in Logan and Shannon but not giving them any books, and maybe book 35 being changed from Stacy and the New Kids on the Block to Stacy and the Mystery of Stony Brook. It would have been nice to get background information on all the books in the series. It would have been okay if we only heard about the more important books. Instead, we get no information about the books. The Babysitter's Club mystery series doesn't even get a mention. So it's safe to say I wish the book had gone into way more detail about the Babysitter's Club. We do get a description of the book writing process from start to finish. At the start of each year, Anne signs a contract for all the books she's going to write. She and her 2 publishing buddies go out to lunch and they brainstorm book ideas. Anne writes a 20-page outline for each book. She goes over the outline with the publishers. Then she starts writing it. By hand, she doesn't like computers. Once it's done, it's handed over to the cover art people along with marketing and merchandise. Anne Martin likes the financial security that comes with success, but she's not a big fan of success. She doesn't like dealing with big crowds or the fact that practically everyone wants her time. She's probably not a fan of YouTube reviewers who criticize her books either. The end. Post-book follow-up. As I've already said, this book should have way more focus on the Babysitter's Club series. There is a lot more that could have been written about Anne Martin's signature achievement. Instead, the book is mostly about growing up in the 1960s. It sounds like a pretty mellow, comfortable childhood. There are about 20 black and white pictures scattered throughout the book. The author makes an effort to mention things that appear in the Babysitter's Club series, like the cat named Tigger and a blanket named Tickly. That was pretty neat. Overall, the book is okay for what it is. It's a fairly thorough description of Anne Martin's early life, obviously done with a good deal of research. It's just not as focused on the Babysitter's Club as it should be, considering that the Babysitter's Club is in the title. I give Anne M. Martin, the story of the author of the Babysitter's Club, a 4 out of 10.